Hello, welcome back to the Enthusiast-Many. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the South Bend, Indiana Tower Farm. Okay, so the first tower is over here. The first tower is right about here. There it is. This one has an old school LED beacon. This one is a radio tower, and it's a cell tower too. And this used to have a dual strobe back then. Not here, but here. There it is. Or maybe it had a TWR strobe and fading LED. I don't know, but it has an old school LED, so I think it had an FH24 back then. And these that cell tower is beacon. There's a cell tower around here. It's beaconless. That one. And that cell tower over there is sadly beaconless as well. It's next to a guide tower which has an old beacon on it. It's a weird beacon. It's not a red beacon, or it's not a red or red-white beacon. It's a white only. It's probably like 80 years old. I don't know, but it's shaved down, chopped down. Okay, the next tower is up here. It's about the same height as this tower, but it looks a lot different. It has a different beacon on it. So here it's right here. This one. This is an FM or AM tower. I'm not sure. It has an old school incandescent on it, and it has two markers, not three. Only three markers. Only three markers on each leg of the tower if the beacon is day mode, night mode. But since it's a night mode only beacon, it only gets to have two. It only gets to have two markers on the side of the tower. So yep, that's that. Okay, so now, yep, this is the second tower I've looked at. Okay, the next tower is down there. So actually, it's several towers. This tower has an old school incandescent. This tower, I think, has an old school incandescent. That tower, I'm not sure what that has. Looks like a single strobe. And I've seen these towers at night before, but the tall one is the only one that still works. All the other towers are dead, the beacon setups. This tower, I think, has an old school incandescent. This one, I'm not sure. This one has an old school. That one has an old school. This one has two tiers of beacons. Has one old school incandescent and another one. I'm not sure if it has any markers or not, but this one's dead. This tower's dead too. This tower has one old school incandescent on top antenna. There's nothing below the top antenna, and the reason why is because this tower doesn't shine white at day, and only towers that shine white at day get to have a beacon below the top antenna. If the tower shines only red at night, the most they can get below the top antenna is just some markers and stuff. And there's another old school incandescent here. There's two tiers of markers here. I think there might be a marker below the top antenna, but there's definitely no beacon there because I saw it at night. There's definitely no beacon at all there, and the reason why is just because it doesn't shine white at day. If it did shine white at day, it probably would have a beacon below the top antenna. But it's not the case here. Another old school incandescent. And there's two tiers of markers. This has three tiers of old school incandescents. And it has 6 tiers of markers, I think. Okay, next we have these towers. They both have dual LEDs now. Okay. So the taller one has dual modern LEDs. It used to have box strobes and old school incandescents back then, but I couldn't see them clearly on the street view. That I knew they did because of the night mode. And the shorter tower has old school LEDs, but it's bent. So you cannot see anything on this thing. The shorter one has old school, and the taller one has dual modern. And the shorter one used to have box strobes and red strobes, I think. And the shorter tower is actually a clone of this tower and another tower over there. So next up, the other towers. These ones. There's the two we just looked at. The shorter one that has box strobes and red strobe. That used to have box strobes and red strobes. Now has dual LEDs. This tower has 2 tiers of FH308s, but they don't work anymore. There's one on the top right above that platform there. You can just barely see it. And I'm not sure where the second tier is. Did they remove it? Maybe they removed it. I don't know. Or maybe it's somewhere around there or somewhere. I'm not sure. But this tower used to work before 2019, but then it failed. And okay, so this tower looked different back then. I think the FH08 is hidden. Okay, so here, this tower used to work before 2019. It used to shine white only, and there's 4 towers here, and this one shines white and red. This one shines only red. This one shines white and red, and this one only shines white, or supposed to only shine white. And I always remember before at the store down there, because there's a large business district, because the city of South Bend, Mishawaka, the South Bend, Mishawaka urban areas down there. This is out in the country, but it's quite close to the urban area down there. But the stores are down there. You can clearly see all these towers from there. And at one time, and I always noticed the 4 towers, and this one would shine white, and other ones would shine red for night. And one day I noticed, oh, there's only 3 towers there. Why? I thought there was 4, and so I realized this tower's beacon setup is not working anymore. I think this might get dual LEDs, because I have a feeling that the white beacons might get replaced with dual LEDs. I hope they get white only though, so that way I can see white flashes again. I film these towers from my yard sometime now, and I know these still don't work, because otherwise I would see white flashes from in the distance combined with the red flashes of the other towers that shine red for night. This tower has dual high-intensity modern LEDs. This used to have box strobes and old school incandescent beacons. Even though it's dual, there's no beacon below the top antenna, which is kind of weird. I don't know why, but sometimes it's like that. Back when it used to have its box strobes and old school incandescents, it actually had markers below the top antenna, I think. So yeah. And then we have this, the most special tower. My most favorite tower out of the bunch is this one. Okay, this tower has box strobes and modern incandescents. There it is. And there's a cone strobe up on top, or I'm not sure. Maybe it's an FH08, I think. So this tower has box strobes and incandescent beacons. It's pretty cool. It has markers, but they don't work anymore. That's what led me to believe. It led me to believe that this tower, and since the box strobes were flashing dim on day mode and they were flashing slow because they were malfunctioning, it led me to believe that at night. It led me to believe that this tower got LEDs, dual LEDs, that have a fading night mode, because that have the same night mode that incandescent does, because some LEDs fade, but they don't flash exactly like an incandescent. But I thought that at that time, and I thought that the box strobe, but there might be one type of LED that has the night mode of an incandescent beacon, but I don't know. And so I thought this got LEDs, but when I looked at it up close, I saw the box strobes and incandescents are still there. And so I then realized that, oh, the box strobes are malfunctioning and they're on a very dim day mode. I wonder if that's the box strobe flashing right there. No, that's not the box strobe flashing. That's the sun reflection. But I'm not sure. That's the sun reflection now. And below the top antenna, there are actually beacons. There's box strobes and incandescents, 3 box strobes and incandescents. And on the top antenna, there's a single strobe and an incandescent beacon. Okay, so this is the most special tower. I like this tower. It's very cool. I'm not sure what this used to have. This is probably the original beacon setup, box strobes and incandescents. It's pretty cool. And there's another view for it. Right here. There you can see the incandescents, and you can clearly see box strobes above them. But the question is, why do they look so small? Like, I thought they'd be bigger. Well, they are. Maybe maybe they are actually just that size. Maybe they're a smaller type of. I think they're a smaller type of box strobes. Now this tower here has only incandescents, and they're inside the tower, so you cannot see them from the outside. This tower only shines red, while this tower shines white and red. But these both have the same flash rate at night, because they both have they both have incandescence for night mode, but this is the only one out of the two. This is the only one out of the two that has strobe lights for day mode. This one has strobe lights for day mode. And since this only has incandescence, there's no beacon below the top antenna. However, there actually is markers below the top antenna, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, this has a red antenna, but it's kind of faded, so it looks white. It looks white colored when you look at it from the sun from southwards. Like when I was passing by it on the road down there, I saw this tower, and the antenna looked white. So yeah. And here's the two other towers again. The one that shines white, and the other one that shines red. This one, yep, this is the one that has the dual LEDs now. It'd be cool if it still had its box strobes and incandescence like it always did before. But anyway, at least you still got this tower. This tower's in danger of getting LEDs. This tower's in danger of getting night mode only high intensity LEDs. And this one's in danger of getting dual high intensity LEDs. I hope they're good LEDs. I'd hope they can be old school LEDs. And yeah, so this tower's very cool, and yeah, it's got a very cool beacon setup. Yeah, it's got box strobes and modern incandescence. That's very cool. And box strobes and old school incandescence is even better though, because old schools are much more reddish than modern incandescence. That's why I don't like modern incandescence as much. I like old school incandescence better. I like modern incandescence only when they're combined with a strobe light, typically a strobe light. And yep, so both of these so this tower shines white at day and red at night. This one only shines red. And that one shines white and red, and the one back there only shines white. And then several others back there shine white and red, and there's another one that only shines red. So I think there's only 2 towers that just shine red. But actually, no. There's more than 2 towers that shine red. I think there's 3 that shine only red. Actually, there's 4. But the 4th one is way down there, you cannot see it. The 3rd one is down there, but it's being blocked by the trees. You can just barely see it. It's right there. So that's the one I'll get to next. Okay, so here's the next tower. If you're wondering where the other towers we just looked at are, they're right here. You can see that one of them is the one with the box strobes and modern incandescence. And this tower has red-only high-intensity LED beacons. Yep, red only high intensity LEDs. They're kind of bright. And this tower they're old school too, so they have a good night mode. They don't shine white at day. They're just red at night, and they're not box shaped either. They're round. I think they're round, but I don't know. They might be box shaped, but I don't know. Just because it's high intensity doesn't mean it has to be box shaped. It just has to be brighter. Now this tower used to have incandescence, I think. Let's see the older street view. I think that's an incandescent. I think it had old school incandescence back then. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I like the LEDs it has now though. There's another tower that's over there. It's very close to this tower. It has a TWR strobe and fading LED. I'll show. Okay, so here's the other tower. This one has a TWR strobe and fading LED. This one got stripped of its cool microwave dishes, and that was kind of sad because it always looked cool with that. So there's its TWR strobe and fading LED right there. And before 2019, I remember it used to have microwave dishes, and then it got stripped of microwave dishes. So yeah, that's that. So, oh, and the other tower with the red only high intensity LEDs we just looked at, that's the one right there. We just looked at before this tower, that's right there. So they're very close, so they look pretty cool at night. And the other the tower with the box strobes and modern incandescence is right there. It's to the left of that tower, the 4 towers there. So it's a leftmost tower there. And the rightmost tower is the one with the 2 tiers of FH308s that don't work anymore. And there's 2 more towers that are down there. They're very close to here. So there's 2 towers. Okay, this one has 2 tiers of FH324s, I think, or actually no, they're old school LEDs, but here in 2019 they were FHU24s, but now it has old school LEDs, which is kind of a late replacement because I would expect them to get modern LEDs. But this had FHU24s at this time, but it now has old school LEDs because I know the day mode is that of LED. And I saw the tower up close, and I know it has LEDs now. And this tower, there's two more towers here. The shorter tower is an old school LED, and the taller one has 3 tiers of incandescent beacons. It's a radio tower. It looks very cool though. They're old school as well, so they're very red. That's pretty cool. So here are the towers. It's hard to see them at this point. Okay. So there's the shorter one right there. Are those markers right there? I'm not sure. Are those markers for? Those might be markers for the old school LED. Okay, the taller one has old school incandescent beacons, 3 tiers. Actually, it doesn't have 3 tiers, but the markers. One thing about the markers, they're malfunctioning. They're flashing along with the incandescents. And so it looked like it had 3 tiers of incandescents. So, actually, so the markers just became mini incandescents. And yeah, the other towers you just looked at are right over there. But the glare, you cannot see them. You can't see them because of the glare. Okay, so the towers you just looked at, are over here. They're over here. They're around here. They're in this area right here. I mean, the other tower, the tower with the box strobes and incandescents, not these towers here, but the tower with the box strobes and incandescents is, the tower with the box strobes and incandescents is right around this area. Yep. So there it is again. Once again, you can see it. Yep. It's very cool beacon setup. But anyway, the next towers I want to show you are over here. They're not big towers. They're small, but they're cool. Okay. The first tower I want to show you has an FHU24 beacon. Here it is. It always had an FHU24, I think. And so the tower with the box strobes and modern incandescents is right here. There it is in the middle right there. It's very cool. Has a wide antenna. And it shines white at day and red at night. Has the incandescent night mode. I think it's 20 FPM. I'm not sure. But it's very cool. Or actually it's 30 FPM, I think. Because this tower has modern LEDs. And I once was able to see the flashes of the incandescents and the modern LEDs synchronized. So I know this has 30 FPM night mode. So they look synchronized like they were flashing at the same flash rate. So it has 30 FPM. And also the incandescent on this tower is the incandescence on this tower is 30 FPM as well. I saw that. Okay, the next up, the long lines tower. This cell tower is beaconless because it's too short to have a beacon. But the big radio tower over there is the one with the old school incandescence, the one I showed you near the beginning of the video. And this other one, this long lines tower here, it has a white only LED. And I've heard this tower I've heard that there was a concrete tower here, which probably had which existed back 50 years ago. It probably had a strobe and an old school incandescent, so it shined white at day and red at night. But the new tower only shines white. There's also another tower next to it with an FG3000B. But one thing weird about it is it looks like an FH24, so it might be an ITL ILS3400 strobe light. This might be a ILS3400, but it has the same malfunctions that 3000B has. That's what led me to believe that this has an FG3000B. But I'm not sure what this tower has. It looks like an FH24, so this might have an ITL ILS3400. I'm not sure how many night modes the ILS3400 has. It has the 3000B night mode, I think the modern LED night mode, and it probably also has the FH24 night mode, but I'm not sure. And this water tower here has an incandescent that doesn't flash, and it's undergone a lot of modifications. And there's one day when this tower, and the water tower, their beacon setups all stopped working for a while. Now This doesn't work, but this tower does. And this tower does, but I'm not sure. It was working for a little while. So this water tower ended up getting modifications. It got repainting and stuff. Yeah. So yep, that's what happened. Okay, and this tower beacon step it's like it stopped working and started working. It stopped working and started working because it has some beacon that malfunctions a lot. It has a 3000B that'll always look like an FHU-24, though I think it might have a 3000B. It could have a 3000B. So, yep. So, yeah, I think that's all the towers. So thanks for watching, and, bye. And that's not a tower. That's, okay, so, bye.